I thought I would give you a hot tip. About 90% of people are dealing with something that nobody knows about or talks about. And you knowing this is going to save you a lot of time and energy. It's going to rapidly deepen or shift or accelerate the work that you're doing with your clients or the work that you're doing with your healer, therapist, helper person. So I'm going to tell you, when we're working with other adults and they're struggling, they're stuck in certain patterns, they're struggling in a relationship, they're struggling within themselves, they just can't seem to move in the way that they want to move. The majority of people seeking out this kind of work have an invisible pattern that's going on. And that invisible pattern is that they may know what it is that's going on. They don't know what to do about it. And I mean this at a super, 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 super basic level, like literally don't know what to do, literally don't know how. And the reason for this is that very few humans, very few humans have had good mirroring and good modeling around their own felt reality. So what I mean by this is that when we're all little kids, when you're a little kid, you're experiencing things inside of you, energies, emotions, sensations, in a world that's brand new for you. For many years, it takes a long time before you get comfortable being here, if you ever get comfortable. The world is brand new to you. Being a person with a body is brand new to you. You don't know the rules. You don't know how to interpret your body signals. So as children, we rely on the people around us to pay attention to us and to notice what it is that we're experiencing, to give language to what it is that we're experiencing, and then to help us with what we're experiencing. So the first part of this is they need to pay attention to us in a way that they actually see the kind of people that we are. For example, they see that we're really sensitive, or they see that we are really quick to frustration, or they see that we're really like kind of contemplative, or that we're slow, or that we take time. They see that we are reckless and very fast. Whatever it is, they see us as we are, and they're not trying to make us something else. They're trying to help us do ourselves more skillfully and to be able to understand who and what we are and how to be who and what we are in the world. So that's the first thing. Most of us don't actually get that. The second thing is that they're able to accurately assess kind of like the difference between us being frustrated versus being angry versus being hungry or tired, the difference between being happy and being dysregulated. So they're there to pay attention to us, helping us with whatever way we might be. And they're paying attention, and then they give us language, accurate language for what's happening. Oh, honey, you seem really sad. Oh, honey, you seem like you don't feel very good right now. Oh, honey, you seem a little frustrated. Oh, honey, you seem a little hungry. And once that state has been identified, then we are helped with what to do about whatever particular state that we're in. And it's not only for our own, like our own insides, but they also do that with the world around us. Like, this is kind of how it works, and here's some tools for you to navigate this, and here's how to get support, here's what your needs are, here's all these things. Most of us don't get that. So what happens with our clients, or when we're a client and we are stuck, or we're frustrated, we're going person to person to person, we're not getting results, we're not seeing things change enough for what we need, it is very likely that what's happening is your brain literally doesn't know how. And the biggest mistake we make in the Western world is that we think because we can see something that that means we can deal with it. And those two things are not, they don't go together very often. So just because you can see it, your therapist sees it, your healer sees it, just because it's seen and we go, okay, we need to address this, that addressing it needs to often not be at this sophisticated level. I think that a lot of us, when we go into healing, whether we're on this side as the healer, therapist, helper person, or this side as the healee, the person seeking the healing, we often are way too sophisticated about the problem. We're way too sophisticated in our analysis. We're way too sophisticated in our assumptions. So what you want to do is you want to ask the question of your client or ask the question of yourself, has anyone ever shown me how to do this? Where have I received help, mirroring, modeling for how to do this? Have I ever received that? And just ask that question. Don't make the assumption that you know. Don't make the assumption you had the best parents in the world. Don't make the assumption that all of your needs were met. We're not disparaging anybody. We're just asking the question. Have I learned this? Where did I learn this? When did I learn this? If you realize that you really weren't ever taught, then you want to engage the person that you're working with to teach you. So for example, and if you're a therapist or a healer, you're on this side of it, you want to ask your clients this, has anyone ever shown you how to deal with this? Don't go, now we're aware of the problem, okay, now you can go deal with it by these really sophisticated things. A lot of times when a client is not taking action on the things that you've agreed upon that they're going to take action on, it's because something way down here is missing for them. They literally don't know how. And as bizarre as that might sound, it's true. So I'll give you an example. You can ask your healer person, what script could I say? Will you please write out a verbatim script for me that I could practice, that I could say? What am I even allowed to say? How do I even come into this? So is there a script? Is there a physical? Is there a breathing technique? Is there more information that I could get? Are there ways that I should be thinking about this in terms of how my body is feeling? How do I accurately interpret how to navigate this, what to say? Like, what am I even allowed to do? What if I need more information? How do I ask for more information? And when we ask these things, when we have this conversation, it's not how you do it, it's how do I do it safely? How do I do it without being shamed, without stepping on toes, without embarrassing myself? So when you're working with a healer or a therapist, you literally can say, how do I do that? And say, please talk to me like I'm 5. Explain it to me like you would explain it to a 5-year-old. Not to diminish yourself, but to communicate to the other person that I need the most basic of the basics of the basics for this, so that you're not being too sophisticated and I'm not being too sophisticated, but that maybe the areas that I never had properly developed or I never had proper help in are being addressed. I need this modeled. I need ideas of what's possible. I need actual words. I need actual behaviors. I need actual steps for how I do this. Please help me. So if you're stuck with a client, or if you're stuck with your therapist, or you're stuck with your healer, you're stuck with your own healing process that you may be doing on your own, I really want to encourage you to ask, hey, wait a second. Do I even know how to do this? And the way I wonder about that is, who showed me how to do this when I was a kid? And if you don't immediately think of the person who would have been there and in there with you, that was a reliable, accurate, regulating influence for you, you probably never learned it. So don't expect yourself as an adult, just because you can see it and you're smart and you're sophisticated, don't expect yourself to actually know. So if you're getting stuck, you're probably missing something from a long time ago that is way more basic than you are even thinking or imagining it possibly could be. I will literally write out a script for someone. And then I'll say, this is what you're going to say. And then they'll go, oh my God, I can't say that. Or, oh my God, that makes me feel this way. And then we talk about that and we go, okay, what objections are you expecting? What resistances are you expecting? Here's a script for that. Here's a script for that. Here's what you do in that case, and really walk through and fully orient someone in this kind of new way of being that might be different for them. And to be kind and compassionate, because these aren't flaws or things that are broken in us. It's that this world is immense and it's very complex, and there's a lot of little rules. And if as a child you are not having someone paying keen attention to you and giving you language and walking you through and demonstrating and modeling and showing you how to do this, or if the way that they're modeling these behaviors for you are not really healthy or simply not aligned with the type of person that you are in the world, it's not necessarily going to work for you. What you're getting modeled is not necessarily even accessible for you. The way that they're modeling things might not actually sink in or fit for you. Or you twist yourself to try and get them to fit, and you never learn how to be really who and what you are very well. You don't even know kind of what you mean inside of yourself. Just whenever you encounter a challenge or a pattern or a place that you seem to be stuck, just ask yourself, do I really even know what to do right now? And if you go, well, of course I do, just go, okay, so where did I learn it? Who showed me how to deal with this? And it's not like, oh, I'm smart, I can figure it out. Like literally, if you're missing language or you're missing modeling, there will be things that will be not very accessible to you. So as you ask this question, and then you ask people to help you, can you model this for me? Hey, have you ever been in this situation, and what did you do, and how did you know how to do that? And like, what language do you use? How do you regulate your emotions in this? What are you allowed to ask? What do most people typically expect? What's normal in this situation? What would be weird? Can I practice with you? Can I bounce some of this off you? In a society where we're all supposed to know everything, you're just supposed to know everything. And if you don't, it's a problem. In a society that's very mental and very cut off from the body and from the world, from nature around us, we tend to be a little harsh about not knowing stuff. So we just want to have just a very soft space around this, just a very soft place of like, it's not a big deal. It's like if I asked you to explain electron microscopy to me, and I was like, yeah, tell me about electron microscopy, and you weren't able to give me a sufficient explanation of it, I'm not going to sit here and go, you're stupid, and you're also not going to think that you're stupid, because obviously you've never learned about electron microscopy. How should you know something like that? There's no difference between not knowing about electron microscopy, and if you do, good for you, but there's no difference between not knowing about electron microscopy, not being, sophisticated about electron microscopy, and not knowing about some of the way that you feel or what tools you need to be yourself well in the world. There's no difference. It's just a cultural perception, shamey weirdness that our society has, but it doesn't mean anything. It's actually literally just no different at all. So I hope that's helpful, and I hope you try it out. And if you feel like it, just give me a comment and let me know if it works for you, how that worked out. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.